right, that looks like most people are in now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, guys. My name is Luke Huber. I'm one of the admission counselors here at Baylor. And so, super glad that you guys are here for Baylor Premiere, and we're really excited that you guys can join this day virtually to learn a little bit more about the pre-law program. So, I'm going to let Paige and Paolo both introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paige Garner, and I am a senior economics major here at Baylor, so I'll be finishing up in May. After that, I will be attending the University of Texas School of Law for law school. And so if you guys have any questions about the application process, about freshman year, sophomore year, please feel free to ask me at the end.
Hello, my name is Paulo Ferrell. I am a eighth here at Baylor Law School. I take the bar in July, and also very important, I'm the assistant pre-law advisor here at Baylor as well.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go ahead. And so Ben Cooper is the director of the pre-law department here at Baylor, and he unfortunately couldn't be with us today, but he recorded a video kind of talking about the program. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I will play that for you guys. And if you guys have questions during that, feel free to put it in the Q&A section. And we're going to give Paige and Paolo a little bit of time to answer those at the end. But let's go ahead and get started.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spring Premiere. This is the pre-law session, and my name is Ben Cooper, and I'm the pre-law program manager. We're delighted to have you here, and I'd love to share with you over the next few minutes that we have together a little bit about the Baylor pre-law program, what it is, how it can help you prepare for your college experience, but also for a career potentially in the law. So the first thing I want to clarify is that there is actually no set major that you need to pursue at Baylor, or anywhere for that matter, in order to be a competitive applicant for law school. The old myth is you had to be a political science major in order to become a lawyer, and it's really just not true. The law schools aren't particularly bothered with what your major is. You could be German, you could be great texts, you could be one of the STEM fields. What the schools are going to be far more focused on is, did you do well? Did you develop the skills that we know you need to do well in law school? Reading, writing, critical thinking, research, editing, those kind of skills. And you can develop that skill set in almost any major. Now, at Baylor, because we don't have a pre-law major per se, we have a pre-law track and we have a pre-law designation. And we'll talk about both of those separately. Now, a track does not give you an advantage getting into law school. A track is just a set list of classes within 4 majors at Baylor that are titled pre-law tracks. Now, having those tracks will focus you in a very particular area academically, but does not give you a distinct advantage when it comes to getting into law school. So my advice, I'm going to run through which majors have those tracks, but my advice is not to select those tracks unless you know the classes and you know that you will do well and that you will enjoy them, okay? Now, a track will appear on your degree, and a pre-law track, remembering that it does not give you an advantage getting into law school, is found in economics, political science, philosophy, and great texts, and only in those majors. But again, that is not a requirement. The pre-law program, which I oversee and which you will be part of, is a designation. Or more to the point, it's actually 2 designations, pre-law and pre-law interest. Now, as an incoming freshman, you are able to simply add pre-law without any prerequisites. And there's no requirements, no set classes, but we do require you to have a GPA, a cumulative GPA of at least a 3.2 at the end of your freshman year. If you want to add the designation after freshman year, you have to have that 3.2. Now, if you added the designation as a freshman and at the end of your first year, you fall below a 3.2, what will happen is you will permanently move down to pre-law interest. You can't come back up to pre-law. Now, the good news is that this distinction it's not a practical one. You're going to get all of the same emails, all of the same access, all of the same invites. Everything will be the same whether you are pre-law or pre-law interest. But the reason we have this distinction is as a warning system to you as a student, because if you look at the average GPA of people who are admitted to law school, it bounces between a 3.4 and a 3.5. So that 3.2 that we're asking you to meet is not the high watermark, it's a basic that we want you to be aiming for. And so you can fall below that mark, drop down to pre-law interest, and still be a very competitive applicant for law school. It's just our way of saying, hey, if you're serious about this, now is the time to start turning things around. Now, the designation allows you to access quite a bit. So for example, it's going to allow you to get access to pre-law advising from our office. So where you're going to be able to meet, talk about your specific career goals and interests, and be able to come up with a very detailed and specific plan on how to take you from where you are to where you ultimately wish to be, not only in terms of getting into law school, but beyond that as well. These resources are available to you not only while you're at Baylor, but also as an alumni, which is a service that we offer. We actually have quite a few alumni that we work with, because it's actually very, very normal for someone to go to law school after having gained a few years of experience after college. So it's not an expectation at all that you go immediately from from college straight to law school, although you can do that. So either pre-law or pre-law interest is going to give you access to advising. You're going to have a weekly email that comes out with all of the guest speakers, scholarships, internships, and all of the opportunities that are going to be available and open to you as part of our program. There are going to be opportunities for you to visit with employers who come to campus. There's scholarships available. There are a great number of opportunities going to be available to you in that email. It's going to be part of what you get. You're also going to have access to our pre-law fair. So each fall, we bring somewhere from 70 to 100 law schools to campus. And they come here so that you can interact with them and you can get a feel for what these different law schools are going to be like for you. We also have a huge advantage for our students, and that is we have our own law school here on campus. And while the program regularly helps students go everywhere, whether that's the West Coast, the Northeast, or somewhere else in the United States, the advantage to you is that by having a great law school on campus, you're able to sit in on a class and get a feel for it, to get a sense of what being in law school is like, to build relationships with law students and faculty, and to get a real sense of what being in law school will actually be like for you. And as part of our program, whenever they have events at the law school, visiting judges or academics, you're going to have the opportunity to be part of those events. We have a very competitive mock trial and moot court program, which is a wonderful opportunity for you to get some practice at courtroom advocacy and to build your resume and to develop some of those skills that we know you will need to do well in law school. We also have a very competitive and very well-resourced Baylor and Washington program. And that's an opportunity for you to actually go and spend an entire semester in the nation's capital working on a full-time basis. Now, unlike other universities, our program is not a summer program. It runs through the fall and through the spring. You'll work full-time, Monday to Friday. You'll take classes on a Wednesday evening, and then you'll come back to campus the following semester with a full semester's worth of work experience, a full semester's worth of credit, and the benefit of an entire semester of networking and building key relationships in DC, which is actually the biggest concentration of Baylor alumni outside of Texas. So great opportunity. I think in many ways a really good substitute for a study abroad. And we also have some scholarships available for pre-law students to take part in that program. We also have a legal reasoning and analysis minor. It is not mandatory, but it is a great option for people who are really wanting to develop those skills that the American Bar Association has said, these are the skills you need to do well in law school. Now, that's legal reasoning and analysis minor. Now, there are no required classes to be designated as pre-law or pre-law interest, and there are no required classes that you need to complete in order to be a good applicant to law school, unlike medical school, for example. But there are two classes that we strongly encourage everybody to take before the end of their sophomore year. And they're essentially logic classes, philosophy 1306 and 1307. And we like you to take those before the end of sophomore year so that if you do really well, you know you've got a foundation that you can build upon. And if you don't do so well, it doesn't mean in any way that you can't go to law school or that you won't be a good lawyer. It just means you probably need to spend a little bit of extra time doing some remedial study in your own time and at your own pace, so that when you do begin to prepare for the law school admissions test, you've got some of those foundational skills down as you transition into that period of your application. We help people with the application process itself from beginning to end. The test is a big piece of your application, and we bring test prep companies from all over the country to campus to provide you with free workshops so that you can start preparing for that test and get a sense for what those different preparation styles look like. You will get full service assistance with your applications, with essays and all that kind of stuff. So everything you need to do well is going to be available to you here. There are also opportunities for you to explore different careers. What we often find is that people who start out wanting to do law, when you dig into it, they're actually interested in something that looks like law and sounds like law, but might be something a little different. And so we help students explore those alternative career paths as well. We are a little pressed for time. And so I want to bring our session here to a close and open up our question and answer session. I'm unfortunately unable to attend today live because I'm at a conference out of state. But if you have questions on that we can't answer today, please do not hesitate to email me directly at prelaw@baylor.edu. Head on over to baylor.edu/prelaw and check out our website. You'll also find our program podcast, Bears, the Bar and Beyond. Go ahead and listen to some of those episodes and get a feel for the kind of programming we make available. And I certainly hope to hear from many of you. I'll now leave you in the hands of our very capable student leaders, Paolo, who's our pre-law assistant, and also Paige, who's one of our pre-law seniors, who's about to head off to law school herself. She's got some great experience and insight. So I'll leave you in their capable hands. Wish you all the best, and thank you for taking the time to join us here today at Spring Premiere.
Awesome. That was great. Now let's go ahead and we'll move into kind of a question and answer session. So if you guys want to go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A part, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Paolo and Paige, and they can kind of go through and answer some of those as well.
Awesome. Yes, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A. I'm also going to leave my email in the chat just in case there are any questions that we don't get to. The first question we have is, the two strongly recommended classes are both philosophy classes. Yes, it's Logic 1306 and I believe 1307. I only took Logic 1306, but what Ben said about it helping you prepare you for the LSAT is very true. Logic is a huge part of the LSAT, and that was a course that really helped kind of rewire my brain to think in that way.
So Robert asks, so if pre-law is simply a distinction, essentially it's not a major. It just gives you a little bit more of opportunities to for more information. For example, you'll be getting the weekly email, you'll be getting invites to certain events and things of that nature. So as long as you're part of the pre-law distinction or designation, you'll get the benefits from it. But yeah, it's not a major.
So someone asked, I wanted to major in music. Can I still be a part of the pre-law program while taking some of the classes? Most definitely. You can major in anything and have that pre-law designation that will pair you with the pre-law department. And as far as taking some of the classes go, as long as you have some room in your schedule for electives, you can ask the pre-law department for some different recommendations for those classes. Personally, I recommend those logic classes we were talking about, and also some heavy reading courses. That will be the other thing that will help prepare you for the LSAT.
So in the chat, someone asked, I know he said y'all have a Baylor at Washington. What other classes would this help get into law school and help with the bar test? So for the bar exam, I don't think there's really any class you can take in undergrad that'll help you for the bar. The bar and the UBE bar is a whole monster on its own, and you'll get that once you're in law school. Like you'll get information about that once you're in law school. Let's see what other class is the BBA economics part of pre-law track. I believe it is.
So, oh,
Yeah. Go ahead, Paige.
I was going to say, I think it's the BA in economics that's pre-law track, but maybe I could be wrong about that. That would probably have to be a Ben Cooper question. He could answer that for you. Sorry, I'm going to type my email out in the chat real fast.
Can we get a confirmation if y'all got our emails? We're not sure. We sent it just to specific people or everyone. So someone asked, what are the prereqs for law school? Good news, there really isn't any prerequisites for law school. It's not like medical school where you need to take certain classes, et cetera, et cetera. All you really need for law school is take the LSAT and obviously an undergraduate degree of some sort. You don't even they don't even have specifically a set list of degrees that you need to take, you need to have to get into law school. So there is no real prerequisites. All you need to do is take the LSAT.
So the very last question in the Q&A, they mentioned economics, philosophy, great text, and one other. Are these recommended classes? No, so those are the majors that if you wanted to be on the pre-law track, and that just means that they have a certain classes that would be required for you to graduate under that track, then you would choose one of those majors. But kind of like what Ben was saying, pick a major that you are interested in and go with that. You don't necessarily have to pick one that is on the pre-law track. Even though I'm an economics major, I'm not on the pre-law track. I kind of wanted the freedom to pick and choose my schedule. And so I hope that answers that question. See. Is the pre-law fair open to other majors interested in law school or just pre-law majors? I believe in order to get the email updates, you would have to have the pre-law designation. But Paolo, do you have anything to add about that?
No, I was just agreeing on your comment.
But I would say, like, even if you're not completely sure, just go ahead and put that pre-law designation on there. All it's going to do is give you weekly emails and connect you with Ben Cooper, and neither of those are a bad thing. And if any time you decide that you don't want to be receiving those emails, you can just send the pre-law department an email.
So someone asked the very last question in chat: Is Baylor in Washington an opportunity during undergrad or during law school? That's an undergrad opportunity. For Baylor Law School, there really is there's no Baylor at Washington type thing. That's only an undergrad opportunity.
Someone asked, what are the most common law schools people attend after graduating from Baylor? It's probably hard for us to get exact numbers on this just because so many people take gap years after graduation. I know for me personally, I'm pretty plugged in with Pre-Law Society. And so I have a lot of friends who are applying to law school, and for sure the Texas schools, UT, Baylor, SMU, A&M, South Texas, University of Houston, but we also send a lot of students out of state. So I have two friends that were just recently accepted to Harvard and are hoping to go there. And so I also have a friend who's accepted to Pepperdine and he's hoping to go out to the West Coast. And so the pre-law department will work with you to figure out your goals, figure out what school you want to get into. And it's by far not limited to just Texas schools.
So these two questions, Austin, concurrently. What is the best major for pre-law, since pre-law is not a major? There really isn't one specific perfect major for this. You can really get the designation with whichever major. You just need to choose what you want to study, what you want to learn, and choose that. There is no perfect major to get into law school. The next question is, does Baylor help you getting internships with the government in the government field? We do. I personally just last week got some information about an opportunity to work at the U.S. District Attorney's Office in Dallas. And as soon as I got that, I sent it out to everyone. And, now we have I think 7 people have emailed me saying they're interested, and I'm helping them out in their applications for that as well. So,
So
yeah, short
did
yes.
we answer the Baylor and Washington question already?
No, well, kinda. This is another question. You will be working at the capital, like the actual capital.
Any other questions? We still have right about 5 to 10 more minutes. Will I be prepared to go into any field of law in law school? A lot of people will tell you that law school is what prepares you to go into any field. And so there's nothing that you necessarily have to do. I mean, get experience, maybe try to figure out an area that you're interested in. But for me personally, I'm keeping an open mind going into law school. I had the opportunity to shadow a couple different areas in law school, or sorry, in my undergrad, but I wouldn't say you need to worry about necessarily being prepared for a specific field, if that makes sense.
To tag on to that, so my experience in law school has been that it really depends on which one you go to. So, for example, I go to Baylor Law, and at Baylor, they're huge litigation friendly and trial advocacy, friendly law school, which means that they're training us to be in the courtroom every day, right? So if you're interested in doing contract work, which really means that you're just gonna be sitting down in front of the computer all day, maybe Baylor Law is not for you because that's not what you want to get into. But if you're interested in going into something that requires you to go to the courtroom every day, then Baylor Law is important for you. But that's a question for when you're seniors and juniors in undergrad, I think.
Someone asked, are there any downsides to marking yourself as a part of the pre-law program? Does it limit your freedom of choice for course selections at all? So kind of what Ben was talking about in that is that there is a difference between the pre-law designation, and that's what usually we ask every pre-law student to do, designate yourself as pre-law, because that keeps you updated with the emails, but that doesn't require you to take any courses. That will just tell the pre-law department that you are interested in going to law school. And then if you decide to do a pre-law track, which was listed under 4 different majors, then there would be courses that you would be required to take before graduation.
Someone asked, I know there's a lot of fields of law. How does one choose which field they want to go for? For me personally, it was experience. I worked a lot in the plaintiff side when I was in undergrad, when I was like 18, 19, and then I kind of got introduced to the idea of working civil defense side of personal injury cases, which now that I'm graduating law school and taking the bar has allowed me to network myself into 2 really good offers of civil defense firms for insurance companies. Like Paige said early on, enter law school with an open mind, because I have a lot of friends who are going to graduate who thought that they wanted to do X, and now they're graduating and accepted an offer for Y. So enter law school with an open mind, but I would say try to get as much experience as you can when you're in undergrad and in high school. Oh, I want to answer this one. I actually have visual aids for that. So this is my reading. I guess you kind of can see it. This is my reading for 2 days of class, just to put into perspective. But it varies from law school to law school.
Awesome. I think we are about out of time. Thank you, Paolo. Thank you, Paige. That was super helpful. And thank you all for attending this. We're really glad that you joined us. And I hope you guys have an awesome day for the rest of your Baylor premiere. Awesome. Thanks, guys. You can head on to your next session now. Bye.